everybody, my name's Michelle, and today I thought I'd do a video I've been thinking about doing for a while, and that's all about my first year of breastfeeding. I just hit 1 year on January 19th, and that's the day that the hardest journey of my life started. Breastfeeding for me was not easy. I know they say it's supposed to be like secondhand or just kind of, I don't know. I just had a misconception that it would be really easy and not as hard as it was for me. I know there's a lot of groups and a lot of information out there. Of course, if you're struggling with this or not sure how to make it work for you, I definitely recommend getting in contact with the Leech League or at your hospital. There should be a ton of resources and a ton of support for you to go and check out. I did take the class that they offered, and I recommend at least trying that because they give you a lot of different holds, methods of latching on and everything like that, and so you're just not going into it like cold turkey, not knowing anything. So I definitely recommend taking the class just to get a little bit more information and everything like that. As soon as my baby was born, they want you to start breastfeeding, and one of the nurses, lactation consultants at the hospital, said that I should start out by nursing him, and while I wasn't nursing my baby, to hand express some colostrum. So this is something that they said would increase my supply and make me a little bit better of a producer. So like from day one, it was breastfeeding is a lot of work. It's not easy. It's something you're gonna be doing like all day. I did it so much, I watched the entire series of Downton Abbey while I was breastfeeding. So seriously, don't watch your movies before your baby comes. Make sure you have your like Netflix lined up, all the shows you're gonna watch, because seriously, it's gonna feel like you're breastfeeding 24/7. So they had me doing hand expression. I'm not sure if this is something that they tell everyone at every hospital. It might be different. But in between, obviously, breastfeeding, I was trying to get colostrum out, and they gave me basically a little cup like this. I still have everything to hand express into, and seriously, it was like a couple droplets, like a raindrop is how much came out. And then they also had little syringes, so you could just suck up that little bit and then give it to your baby, which was not very much at all. It wasn't even like a milliliter. So, of course, your breast milk doesn't come in for a couple days. Mine didn't come in till like around 3 days or so. My doctors ended up freaking me out though, because obviously my baby lost quite a bit of weight, and they said, oh, you need to run to the store and get some formula. So even though kind of natural for your breast milk to come in later and for everything to go that way, they were freaking out because my baby had lost so much weight. I did go to the store and I got some formula, but I ended up holding off and not doing that. And then my breast milk came in. You will know when it comes in, because seriously, it looked like I had implants. That's like, my boobs were like huge. So if you're wondering what your boobs would look like with implants, that's what happens. At least that's what happened for me. So I ended up coming in, and then he started gaining weight and everything ended up being okay. But seriously, there's a couple things I didn't know. They want you to feed every 1.5 hours. So you start at 1. If you end up feeding for half an hour, the time doesn't start over in 30 minutes. It starts from the beginning. So in another 1.5 hours, you'll be feeding your baby all over again. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, or so basically you'd be starting at 1 and then doing it again at 1:30. You'd be starting again, even though you just finished breastfeeding, say 30 minutes ago. In the very beginning, I ended up having to set an alarm to go off every 2 hours to breastfeed my baby. I know I hear a lot of women saying their baby's like sleeping through the night from the very beginning. And yeah, your baby might sleep through the night, but you really need to work on breastfeeding your baby more often so that your supply's up, and to feed your baby, because your baby will be tired, lethargic. At least my son was. He didn't wake up to eat. He didn't wake up to cry and eat or anything like that. I literally had to wake him up and keep him up for the entire feed. because if I didn't do that, then he would probably sleep for 4 hours or 6 hours or something like that. And I know you're going to want to sleep, but you really have to wake your baby up and get them to nurse and keep that going. So after I left the hospital and we went home, I was nursing all the time. It was not comfortable. I know they say it's not supposed to hurt and everything like that, but for me, it was very difficult. It was uncomfortable. It was like toe curling. Every time my son would latch on, I would like curl my toes and like brace, and it was seriously uncomfortable. But for me, I think I did go see the lactation consultant, and they had me do some different holds and stuff like that. But honestly, it was just uncomfortable. It was painful, and that lasted for sorry, I'm still recovering from my flu, but it lasted for a couple months until I could finally get used to it. But to be honest, I had sensitive nipples before I gave birth. I mean, if you think about it, you have a baby like nursing. He would nurse for like 30 minutes at a time. And I didn't like my nipples touched before, and then imagine having a baby latched on, sucking on you, and they have like a powerful grip. It's super strong. But so one thing that one of the nurses did give me, I would recommend asking for this, just because get as much as you can from the hospital while you're there, just so you don't have to go back and get it later. And it's sometimes, I think it's covered. I don't think they charge me for it or anything like that, but I ended up getting a nursing cover. This is something that I got from the hospital. One of the lactation ladies gave it to me, but basically what you have to do is like create this suction like this, put this over your nipple, and then basically it attaches to your nipple, and then your baby can nurse from this side, so it kind of protects your nipple a little bit. It's called a nipple shield. This helped me a lot, and I used it a lot in the beginning. I probably overused it. They say you're not supposed to use this because your baby's not getting skin to skin, so it's good to alternate on and off with it, just so your body knows that you're supposed to be producing more milk, and so your demand doesn't diminish or anything like that. But this is something that I probably, like I said, overused, but I recommend asking for it, because I mean, if you're in pain and if you need something to like relieve that, I really recommend trying one of these out, and checking out a link to make sure you're putting it on correctly as well, because I think I was doing that wrong at first. Just making sure you kind of get the suction, put your nipple on, and then making sure you kind of press it on so it's really attached to you. Yes, I do recommend this. And then if they do have it, I recommend getting one of the sterile cups they have as well. I mean, just after you give birth, hopefully you have no fear left about asking for things. But yeah, ask them for one of these little sterile cups. This is actually in between uses, I'd wash it and then put it in here just for safekeeping, because obviously it is going in your baby's mouth and stuff like that. Get as much as you can from the hospital. Something else that I got from the hospital as well was the lanolin nipple cream or something like that. It's like an oil-based, and it's safe for nursing. I recommend getting like quite a few tubes of that. I used it like pretty much after every time I nursed, and you put it on your nipples, and it's supposed to relieve like cracked nipples and bleeding and kind of like prevent it a little bit. So they have pads for your boobs. Super fun, right? I recommend getting, this is like an organic cotton one. I got these from Bye Bye Baby. Super comfortable, and you have to think of your nipples as like chapped lips. So if your nipples are going to be raw and kind of sore, you want something that's going to be soft that you're going to be putting in there next to your boob, and not something hard and scratchy. I got some cheap ones at my baby shower that were super uncomfortable, not something you want to use all the time. So these are just the reusable ones that you wash in the washer, that you put in there, and they kind of look awkward if you're like wearing a thin shirt. But yeah, I recommend getting these. There are also disposable ones that you can get. They come like this in little packages. You just tear them open. And they're kind of big. You can tear them apart like this a little bit to shape to your boob. They have little sticky pads. But this is what they look like. If you want, sometimes I did this, I tore them in half, and then I used one on each side, just because I didn't want this huge thing in there. I don't know. So that's that. So when I did get home from the hospital, as far as nursing goes, I did have a nursing pump, which my husband got while I was sitting with the baby. He went down and got all my prescriptions and actually got the pump that they provided through the insurance. So this is the one I have, the Amita Purely Yours. When I first saw these at the store, I laughed. Just seeing some women with a bra with these things sticking out is just like, I don't know, you feel like a cow. But yeah, I don't know how else to really talk about this, because this is just awkward. It's weird. You laugh and then you end up using it all the time and then it's not so fun anymore. But anyways, back to, I know they say that you're supposed to be comfortable nursing, yada yada yada. This wasn't even comfortable for me. For me to put this on and have it like suction my boob, seriously, was not comfortable. But what they say you're supposed to do with this is turn it on like all the way, so it's like suctioning a little bit faster. And then once you're let down and your milk starts to flow, you're supposed to turn it down so that it's just like having your milk flow out. But yeah, this worked fairly well. I recommend, if you can, see if you can get this from the hospital so you don't have to purchase one. This one still works pretty well. I could probably replace these little inserts here if I needed to, just to make sure the suction still works pretty good. But yeah, I ended up using this all the time. I would end up nursing and then doing pumping and then nursing and then pumping, just to work up my supply, to try to get a little bit more milk, and then also to put some in the freezer. So that brings me to the freezer side of things. I really recommend, if you can, to get up a supply, because say you need to go somewhere, say you want a break or something like that, it's nice to have a little supply of milk. So I ended up buying some bags so you can label them, put them in the freezer, put your milk in there, and then just excuse me, warm them up and then feed them to your baby. Another reason is I went through the worst sickness in the world while nursing. I got, I think it's the norovirus. They call it like the cruise ship sickness or whatnot. I think it's happened on quite a few cruises. But what happens is you're basically, this is TMI, but you're throwing up and it's diarrhea, and it's honestly super awful. You're going to be dehydrated and not feel good. So, which brings me to, if you're trying to breastfeed your baby, not only are you getting sick and diarrhea and everything like that, but then you're expected to give fluid out of your boobs and breastfeed your baby. So, if you can, always have a couple days supply in the freezer in case you get sick and then you need your husband to feed your baby, or whoever's your support person or whoever's helping you with your baby. Just have some on hand so you will thank yourself later that if, in case anything like that happens, that you can still feed your baby and then maybe get like 8 hours of sleep in a hypothetical cool world, because I still ended up having to breastfeed my baby through the sickness. I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit breastfeeding after the first week or the second week, and even after I got norovirus, I wanted to quit. I wanted to switch my baby to formula. Honestly, it's pretty amazing that I made it as far as I did to a year, because there was quite a few times that I wanted to quit and I'm just done. I just recently got over the flu, and this flu literally had me floored. I was not feeling good, having trouble eating. I think I got sick once. So another thing you have to think about when you're breastfeeding is you're eating your food, normally food, but I guess as a busy mom, you might have time to eat a lot, or you have to prepare the meals and everything like that. And nutrients, as a mom who's breastfeeding is really important, because if you're not getting in the nutrients you need, you just think of yourself, you're like depleting yourself. You're feeding your baby and you're not drinking enough water, you're not eating enough nutrients and food for yourself, you're gonna start breaking down your body basically. At least in my opinion. I'm not a professional, I don't know that, but I just see it for myself. That's another thing that's really good on one hand, because it helps you lose weight in the baby fat and everything like that after you give birth by breastfeeding. But also, if you're not getting the proper nutrients, I imagine that it's not so healthy and good for your body. So you really do want to work on eating the proper nutrition and trying to get enough calories in your diet and everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and link something I found down below. You basically type in your weight, your height, and if you're breastfeeding or not or whatnot, and it'll tell you how many calories you need in a day. Of course, totally talk to your doctor about it to see what they recommend for you to do. But I just thought it was a cool site to look at. This video is like all over the place, but I'm trying to get everything in that I basically have been thinking about. Another thing that I found for me at least was, for pumping, it was a little bit easier to get more milk out right out of the shower since my breasts were warm and stuff, and then I made pumping a little bit easier. So another option you have for either relieving your breasts or to maybe try to get a little bit more milk out was to leave it for like 15 seconds, and so it gets warm, and then you can put these on your boobs and make them warm up basically, and then this helped me get some more milk out. So I really like these. I know you can freeze them as well to make them a little soothing if that's what you like. I really didn't like cold on my boobs, so I didn't actually do that, but I had friends that really enjoyed these. All right, so on to the last portion of this, kind of the more fun portion, but kind of not, because nursing bras. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. I cannot find anything anywhere that's like good quality and cute as far as nursing bras go. I ended up getting mine from Target and they're all right. I'm not too impressed. I got some from Bye Bye Baby, still not that impressed. Probably because you're a busy mom, you don't have time to hand wash your underwear, and you want to wash it, especially if you forget to put a nursing pad in and get milk on it. It's just gross. Don't recommend buying white, because I ended up buying some white sleep shirt, or white sleep bra basically to nurse in, and that ended up getting ruined because of the nipple cream. You don't want to get that on any of your clothes because that does stain. One of the shirts right now, and I thought I would show you guys. This one, let me see if I could show you guys. So this shirt I'm wearing right now is a Jessica Simpson nursing cami. I liked it because of a couple of reasons. I have a thing with lace, and I don't know, I just like the little detail around the collar. I like that it was scrunched up here. And then also, since you're just giving birth, I really liked that the bottom down here came with some ruching. I don't know if you could see that, the camera's on it or whatnot, but it's ruched a little bit, so I don't know, I kind of like to bunch it up over my tummy so it didn't look so kind of odd. And then of course it has the little clips at the top, and it's adjustable, and it came in a bunch of different colors. I actually ended up getting this one in white, and I didn't get it ruined, but it just kind of got dirty. But yeah, I just thought I'd share one of my favorite camis that I had from them. They have some other pretty cute clothes as well. I think that's it for the video. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I added pretty much everything I could think of off the top of my head. Like I said, I have been breastfeeding for a whole year. I think I included everything that I wanted to kind of put out there for you guys and new moms and everybody that has breastfeeding to look forward to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You will make it through it. You just have to keep pushing through and sticking with it. See the lactation consultants if you need help. There's a ton of help out there from other moms. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer anything the best that I can about nursing or anything like that. If you like this video, if you like this type of video, hit the thumbs up button. Of course, subscribe for more content like this, and then hopefully I'll be seeing you guys in my next one. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.